This comes to us from DEI Detected. They said, Kim Belair confirms what gamers always suspected, addresses the SBI backlash written by the lovely writing Raven, the wife of MasteroftheTDS, who is joining me here. In August 2025, Kim Belair, CEO, co-founder of Sweet Baby Inc., confirmed what many gamers had long suspected. In an hour-long interview, Belair inadvertently revealed several of the company's most revealing practices. My husband, MasteroftheTDS, and I watched the full interview live and later produced a 30-minute highlight reel, which is
like I have a group chat with the
which is this. And I'm not gonna, for your own sanity, TDS, I'm not gonna force you to sit through this.
I've literally at this point I'm desensitized to it. I had to listen to the whole thing through once, and then I had to listen to it again, and then I had to listen to it again to make this thing. So at this point, none of it bothers me anymore.
You're numb. You're numb to it. You're like Hassan's dog to the shock. You're just like,
I think I said some choice things to Kim in the stream. I think I said something about how her being a woman means that she should be very familiar with the kitchen, and if she can't take the heat, she should get out of it.
Yep, you did. I remember that. I'll mute this. Let's give people the TLDR on this situation with this audio track that you discovered, and then we'll play some clips from it. But
oh boy,
what's the TLDR that you got, and so, how is your mental psyche coming out of that?
Honestly, I work as a therapist. I've done it for over 6 years. I've worked with a bunch of different clients. So none of this stuff really phases me. I mean, 4 hours of sitting through a stream was awful. I had not wanted it to be that long, and I don't know why I decided to continue. But basically we found
I know why.
Why?
Because halfway through you said, we need to finish this because I will never return to this, and I just want to end it and finish it tonight.
Yes, because you know what's funny? I have a half-finished one of these because they did a Ludo Naracon thing not that long back, and I did like a new show where I just was reviewing it, and I spent like the entire got halfway through it, and then afterwards I was just like, I'm done. Like I can't do this. Gwen, I'm sorry, Smash. If you haven't seen that, she had her. They had the member of CBB Inc. who was a chef who basically tried to compare making video games to making a sandwich, but taking out all the good stuff inside of it.
I remember that.
Like, yep. I was like, I have no idea what this is anymore. Like, I'm done. Like, no. But I thought this was something that was behind a paywall because I did find it behind a paywall, and they had been putting it behind paywalls recently. So I sprung and got it, but it wasn't behind a paywall. So my bad. Hey, I thought it was, and I did pay. I paid for it. I paid for my blood, sweat, and tears and sanity. So I deserve whatever.
The shit we do for these people, which by the way,
think about it. I'm one of Sweet Baby Inc.'s only paying customers because I paid to get access to their talk, and I doubt very many people have done that. So
that's a good point. What is this even? This is, by the way, when I looked them up, do you notice on the screen right now it says Hungama Game Changers 2025?
Mm-hmm.
When I look them up, they have not even updated their logo. It still says 2024.
Yeah, but if you look at the Game Changers of their podcast, you see they've been doing it for years, which is kind of interesting.
Is this?
No, go up to the top. If you go to their podcast little tab there.
Okay.
And you see season 1, season 2, season 3, and then the leadership series, which is the one that they were doing. So they've done this for a while, and they've got a lot. See, look, subscribe now. I subscribe. Damn it!
My God, but the funny thing is, like, I don't know if you guys can see this. Let me zoom in. It's 2024. They haven't updated their logo. If you're going to not update your logo with the year, don't put a fucking year in your logo.
Also, I don't remember 100%, but I think I'll ask my wife since she happens to be in the same room. What did Hungama stand for exactly? Someone in our chat said that it's Indian erotica.
What?
I don't know if that's true, but it could be like, I don't know. Honestly, at that point, I was so zogged out. I was just like, I'm out of here. Okay.
Is it Hungama? Is that, did I spell it right?
Chaos.
Uproar,
Okay.
Commotion, chaos, noisy excitement. Fun, lively, dramatic context. Okay.
So uproar game changers or noisy game changers or fun or excitement. So it's not the excitement part because it clearly isn't exciting. So I would say noisy, noisy game changers. Okay, got it.
Noisy game changers. Anyways,
That tracks.
yeah, it definitely tracks.
But,
so let's bring the podcast
well,
back.
you wanted me
anyway.
to summarize it. So I found
Yeah,
this, I went through it, and it basically came up a lot of different things that Kim had said in the past. That it was basically an interview from Kim that basically she confirmed a couple things that we weren't certain of and had a couple choice things to say about the backlash, which I found hilarious, and also about how she thinks that people should fight for their ideas in games, even if they don't fit in the games that you're fighting for, because they're your babies.
That was a big takeaway from it, is that she's fighting a war when she goes to work. It's a war against the people that work there.
No, she's fighting down. She's like, it's like nom, the game norms and nom.
It's very curious. And she also, in this, a big takeaway, which is actually what prompted me to join you guys, was when she claimed that nobody had reached out to Sweet Baby Inc. to ask for answers.
I hate that because I messaged them I think I messaged them before our first big exposed video was basically like, hey, I'm giving you a chance to have your side of the story. But no. It's so bad. It's nobody at all has reached out. It's like, but I did, and I know other people have, and it's, again, I think the biggest, most telling thing about this wasn't even just what she admitted to. It's the things she omitted. It's what she didn't say. She never once mentioned Chris Kindred. She never once mentioned Cabrutus. She never mentioned any of that because she needed to be a victim. So she took the opportunity to be a victim, which was very interesting.
You're absolutely right. And on top of the Chris Kindred not being mentioned, she also forgot about this situation where I said, I've sent the following message to Sweet Baby Inc. via the contact form on their website. I said, hello, one of your employees, Chris Kindred, has recently reached out to a place of employment of mine, asking about my job status and stating false things. Like, he called me racist. He called me very awful things.
Well, he doesn't like you very much.
No, I'd imagine not. And probably doesn't like me even more now. Or he or she. I don't know what the fuck he is.
I don't even, at this point, I just tell people this, and look, maybe this gets people mad, but I just say that, you know what, I don't care what pronouns they have or what they go by. I'm going to get them wrong or right. And it's not because I care. It's because I don't.
Yep, that's fair. I would like to know how you plan on handling the situation and what your stance is on such actions. This is incredibly out of bounds and bordering on legal action, as I take this matter extremely seriously. Now, don't you think that was a fairly professional message, right? I'm not saying anything ridiculous. That's just like hey, this is me on the field calling timeout. I'm like, wait a second, hold up. We're throwing jabs at each other. We're having fun. We're maybe saying things you don't like. You're saying things back to me. Okay, it's all's fair in love and war. You just want real life with me. What the fuck is that? We don't timeout. This is me being very professional, saying we don't go here. What you just did ain't cool. What they should have done is apologize and said, we will address that. And maybe even if they wanted to go the extra step and say, hey, we know we don't agree on certain perspectives. We see that you have a different stance than we do on things. We understand that. But what took place here is not acceptable at our company, and we're going to be looking into that. Thank you for reaching out to us. I would have been like, well, shit. My perspective on Sweet Baby Inc. just completely dynamically changed.
100%.
They actually care. They actually want to do what's best for the interest of their company. Wow. What do they do instead? Not only do they not reply, but going to your video here, she goes out of her way to say that I should probably put the closed captions on there, that they never reached out. And
I was glad that you were there, because I was like, I even addressed it specifically. I was about to address that they hadn't mentioned Cabrutus and they hadn't mentioned you. And then you happened to be there. So I thought, I was like, oh, and this is a highlight reel. If anybody really wants to, and I'm going to be honest, even though it's our channel, I don't recommend it if you want to keep your sanity. We have a over 4 hour stream where we go through the entire 1 hour talk in detail and break it down and even just try to understand what the heck she's saying half the time, because honestly, I really don't know. And I speak fluent Kimese and I don't even know.
Here we go, right here. Right
here. Want to explore new kinds of characters and stories, and to be given this pushback from a group of people who ostensibly also want that, but who completely misunderstand the way to go about it, it's especially demoralizing. Because there are thousands of videos about us, there are hundreds of videos about me, but of those people, no one has written to us to say, hey, can I just ask a couple of questions about how this works?
I was blown. That's when I heard that. And again, this is like really early into the podcast. When I heard this, I was like, okay, that's gold, because that's literally just, I'm a liar. I am lying to you.
A flat out verifiable lie. And from personal, like my own life, I know that that's a lie, because I have reached out to them and I said, hey, how the fuck's it working over there? Because you got a rogue employee calling my old company trying to get me fucking fired. Zero response. And all we get is no one reaches out to us.
I think the only way we've ever gotten close to like any correspondence from them was when she addressed like everybody at XOXO, and I will say I think we did get a relative of one of the people involved reach out to us, specifically my wife and I, because they didn't like something we said. But other than that, like I don't think they've ever extended the olive branch, or at least said like, hey, let's talk. Like, again, they keep saying we're misunderstood, you're taking us out of context. It's like, okay, I don't think so, but come on, let's chat.
Right.
False.
We actually have written to you.
Dude, I gotta be honest, when this part happened, I was putting together a bunk bed in my daughter's room. I literally like stopped what I was doing. And no, sorry. I wasn't even at that point. I was putting the flooring in. I stopped what I was doing while I was putting the flooring in. And I was like, because I had my earpods in, I was listening. I was like, hold the fucking phone. I got to stop what I'm doing here. I got to go be like, wait. I know.
I knew if you were listening. It was so crazy because, again, the thing that bothers me the most is like, nobody says that they haven't been harassed. I'm sure they have. I'm positive they have. I'm sure there have been people who've gone.
Let me ask you this. Let me interrupt you and ask you this, Master TDS. Have you ever been harassed online?
Yep.
Have you ever had people try to dox you online?
Yeah, that's kind of a normal thing for content creators.
Have you ever had people say things that made you feel uncomfortable?
Yeah, but all the time.
Weird. So I guess you could say the difference is you still push forward to do your work, while Kim over here is bitching about that happening, while we all fucking deal with that. Would that be fair?
Yeah, but again, I'm going to be nice and say like I get it. It can be depending on the circumstances of things, it can be a very stressful thing.
And I'm not endorsing it. I don't want to be confused with endorsing it.
No, I know you're not. I know you're
not endorse it. I'm just saying it's an unfortunate truth of the internet. It sucks. It happens on both sides. I wish it didn't. It shouldn't ever happen. I always disavow it. Always have. People always like, oh, look at Smash saying that he's actually a doxer in secret. Like, no, I'm not. I'm fucking, I have a wife and 2 kids. I got a house. I don't want to deal with this shit in my life. I don't want to go after other people. No, I just want to talk about the gaming industry and how we can improve it. I don't agree with this at all, but I've dealt with it. People have doxed me multiple times. I have someone suing me and doxing me in a lawsuit. Someone who Kim Belair has chatted with multiple times as well.
Actually, I will have to step in and say that I can verify that one talk has happened. I can't verify much more than that. I wouldn't be surprised if there was more. But yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess the best way to put it then to be.
I would assume they keep in touch. I would say
that's an assumption, but to be fair, she knows who Alyssa is.
Of course.
Would that be fair?
Well, yeah, and she even mentions Alyssa's. She specifically, of all the things that she mentions here, she actually mentions Alyssa's article specifically.
Oh, that's right. The
Now, again, keep in mind, this is a highlight reel because trust me, you don't want the 4-hour version. But
Oh,
if you
good Lord.
are brave and you want to sit through 4 hours, like I would imagine, like please like go do something else with your life and like have it on in the background, and you might catch one or two things. But other than that, you probably don't want to watch that. But yeah, she does mention that she was hoping at some point that people would go, "Hey, Sleepy Inc. worked on this game and this game and this game," and they'd like do red lines connecting it. And then when they came out and there was an article about it, you know, it was someone showing the board with all the things like Sweet Baby doesn't do what I think it does, like drawing connections. It's like, so I got my wish, but not the way that I wanted it to. And I'm like, oh, I remember that article.
I've noticed the tendencies that Kim has, while she may not identify herself as a communist or a Marxist, the things that she has said in the past have led me to believe that she is a Marxist and a communist. And that directly opposes capitalism. And I think that is the divide. That really is. It's the age-old thing that our grandparents and great-grandparents have been bitching about for years, about like the fucking commie bastards. You need to stop these people because they will destroy society. And in my humble opinion, that's exactly what she is. Now, she would probably deny that, to be fair. Maybe she wouldn't. Some of them just embrace it. But what she stands for, what she says, pushing DEI as a main component, goes directly against capitalism inherently. I feel like we're diametrically opposed with our own ideologies, I guess you could say, and only one can win out. And I think that's why they hate us so much. I really do. I think at the core, it goes beyond gaming. It goes well beyond gaming.
I agree. It's unfortunate. Like, because you know what? You know what's sad? It's maybe it's weird for me to say this. I really feel like if they made an effort, and we've ever like sat down and had like a talk, I'm not expecting like amazing, but I think that there could be some ground broken there, you know?
Oh, absolutely. But they don't want to have a conversation. I already knew that.
That's the thing. They're like, we don't like this. We want it to change. And it's like, well, you won't make an effort to do that.
Why
like,
don't you want to talk to us? Why don't you want to talk to us? Yeah, exactly. Because they know that ultimately, at the end of the day, we are their enemy. They don't want to try to break bread with us. That's the problem.
They want to break bread on our heads.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, to be honest, a part of me thinks that it would be fruitless anyways, because I don't trust a goddamn thing these people do. Any final thoughts before we move on?
No, I want to point out one more thing that she said that I think is a good thing to close off on. Okay. She says that when you fight against DEI and stuff like that, you're actually fighting yourself. We're fighting ourselves. And then also she's like talking about how she want that with she talks about that how much she loves having, she wants to have sex scenes in games, and that people should just be happy with it and not fight on it and be like, people are like picking it apart. And I'm like, welcome to the internet. Like that's what people do.
Like, I remember all that. That was, I'm again, we're not going to go through this as a 30-minute video of
trust me. I don't blame you.
She's just rambling.
I don't want to go through it.
I know, but, honestly, that's why I'm glad you're here, just to give a quick TLDR.
If you want to look at the article actually that my wife wrote towards the end, it actually has the quote that she specifically says, or so that I think is perfect. When people fight against wokeness, what they're really doing is fighting against progressiveness, and in a way, that's fighting against themselves. And then we did nothing wrong.
Kim, hold on. Before she goes
go ahead,
Kim. We're fighting against communism. We're not fighting against ourselves. We're fighting against Marxism and ideologies pushing DEI. We're not fighting against ourselves. We're not fighting against progressiveness. Progressiveness is a dog whistle word for communism. But go on.
Well, she was trying to say that progressiveness is change in games, and she wants change too. Like you say, oh, we want more sexier women in games, and she's like, well, I want this character to have, more. I want this character to have more expressed sexuality. And I'm like, there's a difference.
Sexier. What?
No. She says specifically that she wants a character to have more expressed sexuality, and it's like, okay, what does that mean in your world? I think I said that.
It means Tosh in Dragon Age: The Veilguard. That's what.
No, I think I said like, well, we don't want that because you want like androgynous tree people or something like that. I think that's what I said, that she might want them to be more expressive, and it's like no one wants that.
Yep. And then concluded, we did nothing wrong. We did our jobs the best we could.
Well, that's the problem, Kim. You did it the best you could, and that wasn't good enough, I think.
I will leave it at this too. And I think Kim knows this, by the way, too. The only reason that Sweet Baby Inc. gets contracted and hired by companies is to up their ESG scores. That's the only reason.
Well, don't forget, they were specifically, and Kim admits in this talk, and again, just if anyone wants to hear the whole thing, you can, but I don't recommend it. She admits specifically that they were involved with Alan Wake, specifically with the character Saga Anderson, and Saga Anderson in the first game wasn't black, and in the second game she was. And like. Yep. I think it's interesting. Like, we were brought in specifically, like, hey, we made this character. We love this. But
didn't she try to claim that they didn't just race swap? But it's like, bro, we can put 2 and 2 together. Like, what do you mean you didn't? Yeah, you did, obviously.
I just think it's funny. It's like we don't get brought in just for this, except we were brought in just for this, and it's like, so you lied. Like, you just have to talk to yourself, Kim.
They get brought in to up ESG scores and increase quote unquote marginalized people in video games. Why? Because the World Economic Forum is giving low interest loans, and they're all in a big clique together. It's one big club, and we're not in it.
Yep. And I'll say one more thing. Mm-hmm. In the words of Kim herself, if you have an idea in a game and you're a baby, that you should fight for it to be in the game, even when it doesn't work with the lore, the narrative, and you should put it in because everybody should have a chance to be expressing. And that is exactly why you fail. Yeah. Because you're forcing things into a narrative that doesn't allow it. And that is the core of what you're doing that's wrong. Period. There's tons of things we could draw parallels to, but it's like, no, you can want to have everybody's input on a game, but you don't have to, like, it's not a battlefield, Kim. This isn't a fight. And if it was a fight, well, it's one that you lost.
Mm-hmm. Wholly agree.